Good evening, everybody. So, due to COVID-19 situation, it's been more than a month that all of us are working from home, either we like it or not. Most of the organizations have let their employees to work from home. So, this is a very relevant topic for today. We have a fantastic panel with me to discuss about the work from home. Is that going to be the new normal? Any informed decision making will happen if there is enough slicing and dicing of data. Discussions that are data driven would lead to better decision making. We did an online survey on this topic, work from home, and it was an overwhelming response. I will share all the details and then start the discussion. Thank you very much for all the participants of that survey. Because that is very, very helpful and helps us make a lot of decisions. Let's see how this is going to be taking us forward. I have Mr. J Balasubramanian, fondly called as AJB by all of his friends and colleagues. He's an engineer, healthcare IT entrepreneur, general manager, startup mentor, and author. He's currently the director and head of Indian operations of Aigilx Health Technologies. He's the author of the book called Get Your First Job. Thank you so much, AJB. We have Mr. Sivakumar. He has built a healthcare back office company focusing revenue cycle management and healthcare IT, iSource. iSource Group has 400 people across 7 offices in India and the US. He's the vice chair of Native Lead. Native Lead is one of its kind platform for the empowered natives to inspire and mentor aspiring entrepreneurs from that region. He's also the vice chairman of Native Angels. Shiva is very active in Rotary International's social activities. And if there are any aspiring entrepreneurs in the audience, now you know whom to go to. Thank you, Shiva. Great to have you here on the panel. Dr. Indumathi Nambi. She's a professor at IIT Madras. She's a researcher and eco-entrepreneurship promoter in the field of environmental and water resources engineering, technology development in water, wastewater and waste treatment, resource recovery from industrial waste, sustainability and environmental impact assessment. Her PhD was in environmental engineering from Clarkson University. She has served central and state expert committees for advising government of key decisions in environment area. Thank you very much, Indumathi. So she is representing the education sector for our discussion today. Next on the panel, we have Ms. Vidhya Sriram, Director, PSPC Exports. It's a leading manufacturer of mechanical safety interlock systems. She has sound technical knowledge of electrical, mechanical, and structural engineering. She comes from the manufacturing industry with great expertise in market principles, design strategies, and leadership skills. She has handled projects across the globe and traveled across various countries. Thank you, Vidya. And then we have Ms. Durga. She's a data engineer manager at PayPal. She's worked with all major retail and investment banks of US and Europe. She comes with impressive track record in leading teams to deliver complex strategic projects and programs. She's an expert in building systems on data warehousing, data and analytics. Thank you, Durga. So this is the panel. We have people from IT, ITES, education, and manufacturing. So before I move to the discussion, the questions, let us take a quick look at the survey results and then start the discussion.
So I feel extremely productive ever since I started working from home, and it's very comfortable. I'm liking it.
Work from home is a very good opportunity for me to collaborate remotely with people and get things done. Saves me a lot of time, travel time 4 hours per day. Moving forward, I would see this as a boon for the IT sector, wherein a lot of resources can be saved and can be operated from home. Let's see, and hopefully we get out of the situation and things turn out better.
kind of profile. So if I were to sum up, it's mostly from IT or ITES, employees working in different organization with a little senior level, 10 plus years of industry experience. Okay, so what do they say? 48% said yes to the question that whether work from home will be the new normal even after the lockdown or post-pandemic times. 58% said yes, there will be a lot of women workforce increase after this post-pandemic if we have more work from home culture in different organizations. And 45% agreed that their productivity was increasing during this lockdown period when they work from home. I will just go around the panel to check, how are they managing currently? Is work from home something new to your organization or to your industry? Or how are you managing? So can we have AJB to answer?
The entire workforce working from home is certainly very new. I mean, at times people used to request for work from home. Let's say in a month, typically a person could do 3 or 4 days working from home. And we always preferred them working at office. So basically, we did not encourage, but however, in many cases, people want to work from home for some reason. So we had permitted them to work from home. Now, just before the government announced, a week before we started actually preparing, we were expecting this is going to happen. So we got ready with all the infrastructure and work security issues and that. But surprisingly, the first week I was very anxious. How is it going to go? I was not sure. After about 10 days, we reviewed the situation. Our productivity has gone up, very surprisingly. So I'm not sure, whether this would continue, because I think with lockdown, people do not have any other opportunity to pursue. For example, people are working late hours without breaking, and early morning we are getting in and working. Now, we are planning to seriously think that, even if it is relaxed, until we are sure, we might not go to office, because the worry is, suppose if one person gets infected, the whole office might be shut down. So something which we are very cautious. So that is something. But I think it's really a surprise, pleasant surprise that it's working out.
Yep, thank you, AJB. Let me hear from Shiva, because we've always been seeing BPOs and ITES working from office. So how did you manage, and how is it going?
Absolutely. It is very, very strange to us. We never thought all of our workforce would work from home, because a couple of challenges: the infrastructure and the time zone which we work, especially in the US daytime. So we never ever allowed people to work from home, because ITES job involved more of a voice 50-50. Ours is not a complete call center. It's a KPO 50-50, data part and audio voice part. So data staff work in the day, and voice staff work in the night. They coordinate, and we used to do a lot of overlapping to ensure these people meet and interact. So the day shift people hand over the stuff to the night shift staff and to take over, because it's a teamwork. But this situation is very, very strange. It took about a week to adjust, because we had no other go. But absolutely, all of our staff, as AJB said, started more productive. In fact, we had a internal workflow application analytics stuff done, but not really used properly. But then there's a time people started using this application and started reporting, conducting regular meetings and stuff like that. Improved. To answer your question, it was so strange, and we never had a work from home scope luxury. But it took about 1 week for us to adjust, and perfectly, it has improved the productivity as of now. The one assumption is that the lockdown time people may not have other distractions, so this is working. But after lockdown, I don't know how this is going to work if they work from home, especially our kind of work, which is limited to the time zones. So it's going to be a challenge.
Thank you, Shiva. Yeah, so IT and ITES, yes, you've heard. When we come to education, Hindu it is because traditionally, we've been seeing only people going to the college, going to the school and studying, and now it's totally different, right from the school kids till, research fellows, everybody is online. And how are you coping it? How are you managing? How is it going?
Yeah, it's a massive change which is happening in the entire world, I would say, and more so in India. It's something very, very new. Although we have been introduced and we are equipped to do a lot of online courses which are available. You might have heard of the National Program of Technology Enabled Learning, NPTEL, which is an IIT and IISc consortium. So we do give online courses for the NPTEL program for other students outside IIT to engage in the learning process. But it has never happened to our own class and our own students. That was just the side activity we were all engaged in. Some of us were engaged in. It's a massive, I would say, shift, and everything we all had to change overnight. Push of the button. It's not easy. When people are so used to use the chalk and talk approach on the board, facing the class. Most of us are still, although we use a lot of IT and stuff for other things, still for class we prefer personal interaction. Right? You get an instant feedback at the end of every class, whether you have delivered, whether you get a. I mean, that satisfaction you cannot replace by online. So we'll talk about all those pros and cons. But with respect to IIT in particular, we just had to switch, and it was not so difficult because the infrastructure was there and we lived in a closed campus. But when you look at other campuses outside IIT, I think most of the private colleges switched. They also had the capability, but the biggest thing was government colleges and the students who are coming from not class A, class B cities, but beyond that, many of the students have found it extremely difficult to adapt, even though the intention was there. So that was the biggest drawback, I would say, switching to work from home in the education sector. So cities are doing fine, but I don't think that will be the new norm in the near future.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Hindu. Okay. Vidhya, how is it in manufacturing? Because again, manufacturing, if you say, I remember only all the machines, and machines need to be operated and things need to be manufactured. So how are you coping with work from home?
It's just 2 words. We are not coping, to be honest, because nothing much can be done for us. I mean, even though we have automated machines and CNC machines and all that, you still need an operator to run the machines. Okay, some peripheral allied work, like for example, sending out quotes and the correspondence with customers and other things are happening. But the heart and soul of the manufacturing is totally closed. Nothing is happening, nothing is moving. So this whole lockdown, I think, is a very serious setback to the manufacturing sector. And to be honest, the only person who partially works from home or works on the move in my organization is myself.
Okay.
So nobody else can work from home.
Okay, got it. Okay, so yeah, Durga, are you there?
Okay. So it exists as part of our BCP plan, and sometimes we offer it for the person, or for the new mom, or for some privileged users with limited access, or sometimes for working for the extended hours. So what actually doesn't exist at this point of time is work from home as a full time with all the stakeholders being working remotely is something unprecedented situation which we are into now. So in terms of managing the productivity, both with regards to the infrastructure as well as the individual, and managing the people interaction, so that is something which doesn't exist. And also the tools and techniques for having this effective work from home, so that's again now we have to get through that. So certain things, yes, doesn't exist, and certain exist but we have never used it. And last thing is, we don't know what we don't know yet, so we are in the process of learning and evolving.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, overall across, I think there are few things which is pretty new to us, because though even in IT we had work from home, but we never had 100% remote working. And in other sectors, I mean, it is totally different. Just have a quick look at the survey. I have one more question on women workforce. You know, a lot of people said that there will be increase in women workforce when we have this work from home culture.
Absolutely. It will increase. Many ITES, especially when they worked in the night, the ITES started way back in 2000. So if you look at that, people would have joined by then, now in the family way. So they would have given up ITES jobs because of the time zone. So these resources are very extremely experienced, but they're sitting at home because they couldn't come to office, especially in the night shift. So those people might start working from now on. So that will increase the workforce available to us. That's my view.
So would you be recruiting more women if they are okay to work remotely, Shiva?
Absolutely,
I mean, I'm just asking for iSource, would you be open to hire more women?
Absolutely. We would be interested in that. And as a policy, we try and maintain at least as much as women workforce. And I was awarded, for employing more women. That's my policy as well. So
wonderful.
This will increase, definitely.
Okay, that's very encouraging to hear. Thank you. What is your view? Will this really increase?
I don't think there would be any major change. I think already, the divide in technical universities, you don't find a lot of women faculty. For various reasons, maybe I'm biased, I'm looking at more IITs. I think PG has a better representation of women faculty. I don't see, first of all, I don't see this work from home continuing after the lockdown period. So I don't see that make any big change in the women entering the education sector.
Yeah. Maybe
for the school side or like tutoring and other things, women are doing getting engaged more in part-time. That's already happening. There are many online programs for like entrance exam preparations, special science courses and things like that, where I see a lot of women already doing some part-time tutoring. So probably, that will continue.
What I feel is there is always a challenge. Like, for example, we deliberately sometimes encourage women working from home in the office also right now, which so I always have this problem, because suddenly after attaining certain experience, women folks vanish from the work. I think now it is going to offer choice for recruiters to consider to bring them back to workforce, which is good in a way, because sometimes I've been thinking always, like, you don't have to work for 8 hours in those cases also. Always, you don't have to really become a full-time employee in situations where it permits, not in all roles, but in those situations where it permits. I think we should be able to encourage women coming in, and this experiment has proved that. I think, as someone said, we are all learning. Durga, I think she said, no, we are all learning a lot of things in this new culture. But there is a definite chance for change in the way people are going to look at women working from home. If talent is available, more and more people will start, encouraging that. Already many companies, progressive companies, are doing it. Many companies, I know, like companies like ThoughtWorks and all that, they've been doing for a very long time, letting people to be existing anywhere in the world, and they can work. Yeah, that will happen. Yeah, that's my observation.
In fact, there will be a paradigm shift in the way we assign work. It is very strange. In US, I've seen people who are taking up 3 jobs, 4 jobs. It is very normal to tell people, I'm as a single mom, I'm doing 4 jobs, 3 jobs. It's very normal talk over there. But here, we work for one company and one job, but that's going to change.
That's absolutely right. I mean, that is what
we all going to, as employers, we are going to estimate whatever work we have. We're going to do instant estimation that, okay, this task is going to take this many hours, so I'm giving you this task and get this done. That's it. So people are going to have this 2 or 3 different jobs. That's going to increase, I suppose.
Absolutely. The gig economy is something that, even in the entire HR community, we are discussing about it. And it is predicted that it is going to increase. Once a lot of organizations start accepting remote working, so the result would be to have increase in the gig economy. So gig jobs, they will have multiple jobs on contract with different employers with their expertise. Yes. So let's go back to the survey. So a lot of them said a combination of all of these are the benefits of work from home. They said flexible timing, commute time is saved, cost saving, and a few of them said it is environment friendly. There's no pollution. We never took the cars out. Challenges. So I think this is what we should be discussing more about. A lot of them said, there is no social interaction, and that is why they don't really like to continue to work from home. And I think that was topping the list. Combination was also 44%. Most of them felt that there's not much of social interaction. They miss that. So how are you guys managing, when you're completely, it's I think more than a month, right? 1.5 months we are in the lockdown. And how are you keeping your team engaged? They're not meeting each other, because when we go to office, there's a lot of, we call water cooler conversations, or for Chennai, I call it coffee conversations. You miss all of that. So how are you managing in your organizations? Durga, how is your organization managing?
Yeah, so when it comes to the employee engagement, we are all social animals, and our base character of that is kind of being shaken up now. Because earlier, as you pointed out, we always make our hallway connections just over a cup of tea with the casual interactions. So because I normally have even my one-on-one over a cup of tea rather than getting logged into the conference room. But now that is becoming a challenge, because sometimes I don't even know if they are upset with something, be it the delivery or be it some personal issues. So those are the challenges which I'm having, and I won't be able to connect with every other individual of my team. But then sometimes with the communications, I will come to know about it, and the other thing is I'm actually having team meetings, and I update them regularly that if at all if they have any issues, to feel free to connect with me. And one thing that I noted is they are actually going through a lot of psychological changes as well, wherein because with IT, I'm sure everyone will agree, like we are having a kind of extended hours. Our day starts early because everyone knows that we are at home and we have to work. And again, late nights again we have to work. So
Yeah,
because of which they
just
are
not in IT, Durga. That's across all industries.
yeah,
We did.
That's a psychological thing that when you have a lot of
yeah.
time, and that also came out very clearly in the survey that a lot of them accepted that they tend to spend more time than their usual work time when they are working from home.
The casual one-on-ones that we have to have, because that also depends on the type of individual that we are dealing with. Because if it is they are kind of extrovert, then they will be always open to come to us and give us their problems that they are facing. But when it comes to introverts, then it becomes a bit challenging for us to understand what they are going through and address it. So those are few things which I'm giving more attention to take care. And also the other thing is, at least in my organization, we do have a separate Slack channel which takes care of the fun activities on a daily basis.
Yeah,
so
I just
every
wanted to
day
know
we will
about
be
the fun
starting with
activities. What do you guys do for the fun that we
Yeah,
miss?
I was about to tell that.
That
I
is
was
what I'm
about to-
looking for, actually. Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
I was
Shiva,
about
can
to
you?
tell you that.
Yeah. Can you tell us
we
what
had
are the fun activities and how are you doing it?
we did some digital antakshari, singing sessions, because BPO employees are pampered with a lot of Friday funda stuff like that. Always.
Okay.
We've had fun singing sessions in a Zoom call. It's challenging, but we had hundreds of people joining, and we did that. But there's an interesting twist here. The people work from home, especially conservative Tamil Nadu situation. I was told women 50-50. Women are asked to prepare more snacks and coffee very often, than usual. Otherwise,
No, in fact, men were asked to do a lot of chores also. No, that happened too.
Somewhere that balance should work, right? And at least if it is starting now, that's a good sign. So
No. That's just a joke. But men just they don't do as much as women used to do at home. So on top of that, now that we have to prepare a lot of different meals, snacks and stuff like that, which otherwise they were not doing it because they were traveling a lot. And see, one important thing.
Actually, there was
important thing is that in ITES,
there was another survey that was done exclusively for women, and it was shown that women were more stressed and doing a lot of work because they did not get enough help for their domestic chores. Domestic help was also not there, and that was also coming out in the survey. Sorry, Shiva.
Yeah, that is the other part is that one advantage I see that maybe real estate guys can pick this point, because most of the ITES workforce earning between 30 to 40,000 rupees, I found out that over the years they stay far away from OMR. I don't know why did we set up our office in OMR. OMR is for IT. If most of the ITES companies are also in OMR, but when you look at it, even IT folks, they don't stay close to OMR. I don't know how. Most of them come from either Tambaram beyond, or they come from Perambur, Ayanavaram side. Densely populated areas are different because the cost of living is little, the rent is low. But it is a nightmare that we have to transport all these people all these years. Very, very challenging. Now that probably if this is going to continue, more people will go out of Chennai and stay in their hometowns and still work, or at least they would pick up the occupation in outskirts of Chennai might pick up
wherever
fast
they are.
wherever they are.
Yeah, a valid point, Shiva.
Yeah. That's a good observation.
Yeah.
In our company, nearly 50% of the people are not in Chennai now. They all vacated their hostel because most of them are young bachelors. They are all working from home, all over the places. My challenge is tomorrow, if I have to start the company, there is no long distance transport. Nobody is going to come here.
Yeah.
So coming back to the core question that you asked, about the engagement. this is a big challenge. Honestly, this is a big challenge. Could, like I already heard that Siva did this Antakshari. In fact, I told my HR to start one. She was just laughing at me. I said, like, you got to do it because this is what you guys do. They talk about movies when they come to office or do something. Like you actually, I encourage having a office cafeteria and lunch place and all that. One of my senior members were asking me, why do you want to, there is a common lunch place, why do you want to provide a dining hall here? I said, people must talk beyond their office work. Only when they talk beyond their office work for something else, they will become friends. Then in the office work, it will spill over. If you isolate them during office work and then again isolate them all the time, they will never become friends. There should be some socializing opportunity for every human being so that somebody across the team, across the department, they will make friends. But tomorrow you never don't know when they want to seek each other's help. So that is one thing I'm worried, because onboarding and giving feedback, one-on-one feedback, where you have that physical cues and how people react, what is their facial expression, and these are something which I think can never be. I mean, let's say you induct one person as a fresher, the physical identity of an office is what makes you belong there, and otherwise everybody will work like a contractor. I mean, that's something which I cannot digest. I mean, I'm talking longer, but one small point. Remember, I don't know, when Marissa Mayer came from Google to Yahoo, actually Yahoo used to have huge work from home culture. She cut it off. One fine morning, she said, no more working from home. And because she said, we could not actually have this opportunity to be creative, talk to each other, and this is a challenge, which is something that I think cannot be overcome. Yeah, that's my point. I don't want to take too much time.
Okay, thank you so much, AJB. I think we've heard enough from IT and ITES on what they are doing, how they are managing their fun part. Coming to Professor Indumathi. So how are you? It's totally different for you. You're conducting classes online, and your students will be online listening to you. How are you ensuring that you're engaging the students well, and how are the students reciprocating? And can I hear a few things from you?
Yeah, it's quite a challenge, Kavitha, because you don't see them. In spite of me telling them to switch on their video cameras, nobody listens. Right? So you don't know whether they're all there or they're gone. Or you're just talking to yourself. It's very, very challenging. So I have my TAs also. Just I make sure I'm seeing somebody. My TAs have to listen to me. So that's the biggest challenge I'm facing. I wrote to my director, okay, we are all complying and we are putting so much effort switching over. But even the attendance part, IIT didn't make it mandatory for students to attend these online lectures because some people may still be coming from a remote place, and so our attendance was not made mandatory. So that our students, right? They take it to their advantage. So even if they have net, we only had 50%. That's a survey we did. Only 50% of the class showed up for these online lectures. Less than that, I would say. Less than 50%. So okay, we completed the semester. Now the question of exams is the big thing which is on our minds. We did online quizzes and all that, but the big semester exam cannot be done online. How do we grade them? Particularly when it comes to the final years who have to graduate and take up a job. We don't know what. There are a lot of questions which are unanswered. How are we going to impact new recruitments, new students? The GATE exams are held up. So MTech and PhD recruitment. So it's just only teaching has been going on, nothing else. When you're hired, that's what the director tells us. Teaching is only 20% of your job. You have all the other things. All the other things are suffering. Our research is suffering. Our projects are suffering. Our admin work is suffering. So the huge impact on education sector, and we don't really know how to cope, particularly lab classes, right? We were just talking about we are going to develop new tools. So already we last couple of years through our NPTEL, we were thinking of having these virtual labs but we're still not yet there. So I think that will be the new norm if things like this happen. Virtual labs and virtual reality kind of things we should start exploring. But still, research is the biggest, has got the biggest hit. Particularly people who are doing field and experimental work like me, nothing has been happening. Those who do computer simulations, it's a different story. So, interactions are the key for research. So that all that is suffering. The social interaction part, lab work part is suffering.
Yeah, especially when we talk about IIT, it is the IIT campus as such, because people are made to stay there, meet each other, study together, and those are the things that even the students are missing.
Definitely. And the transport part is we don't we've not gained a lot because most of us stay on campus. But the students are missing.
Yeah,
it's completely like a deserted campus now. Already we're poor in the numbers, but now it's like completely deserted.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Hindu. Vidhya, you're there?
Yeah, Kavitha, you were asking me about the challenges in manufacturing. In manufacturing, this work from home does not really work because, like I was mentioning earlier, people have to be at the machines, people have to be there to operate things and to move material physically. Even with automation, you need to have people to operate the robots or any of the automated machines like CNCs or anything else. But all the allied activities like HR and recruiting, accounting, those things, yes, and design to a certain extent, not fully again, because certain designs and design changes and small things have to be done in situ. And so those things can be done, probably as a work from home activity. We are also looking into that. We are also looking into to see if there are going to be any cost benefits by doing that, in which case we may decide to implement this. So, but again, how motivated those employees are going to be when the social interaction is not available. So those are the things that we need to see. And in the Indian scenario, work from home is a bit of a challenge because that I think our families and our general social setup should get more used to the discipline of working from home. That is something like a social change, but I think it is going to start coming now.
Okay. So my next question is on how is the future looking like for all of us with respect to work from home? Are we going to look at new technologies that will help? Or are we going to be investing in few other things and not real estate? I'm not sure. What is your view of the future according to you, Shiva?
I've been asking one of my startups to design a home cabin which will get a corner of a house converted to a soundproof, mosquito-proof, wife-proof, kids-proof.
Oh my God. Okay.
Because if you look at all the ITES workforce, they are all in early 30s with very young toddler kids. It is very, very challenging for them to work from home as a lower middle class or that range. You don't have a huge
infrastructure.
2, 3, 4, 5 bedroom houses are not there.
Yep.
So they are all struggling with a single bedroom or 2 bedroom house. And with the kids at home, obviously the ITES workforce, which is early 30s, they are struggling. So some startups should come out with a cabin of 10 by 10 or 5 by 10, which will get the soundproof and mosquito proof with a proper connectivity apparatus which has very automated stuff. That is going to be the future because they need a secluded place with all the stuff in one single apparatus.
All the work infrastructure at their home.
This is one single big challenge I always felt is an issue, because even with upper middle class families, dedicating a room as an office is a big problem. True. They won't let you. Some of the houses are one single hall, one big hall only will be there. There is not even rooms, and we are not ready for that. As a total nation, we are not there. I'm really worried for all our boys who are there is a background, child is crying and this guy is in a meeting and you cannot ask them to go out.
We all might leave Chennai. We all might leave Chennai, and I think some of my staff. In fact, in the meantime, last month or so, we hired about 10 people new. Entire hiring, onboarding, everything happened on a video call. One guy was in Virudhunagar, in a village. Then I had to do the final round of interview. He was sitting in a mud house, maybe in the very thatched roof and mud house, with a couple of aadu maadu kind of koli. Then he said, "Sir, this is what I have. If you want to hire me, otherwise leave me." So that was the situation. Probably people will move away from Chennai and settle in bigger houses in the hometowns. Even in hometowns these days in Tamil Nadu especially, we're not building big homes. We're all very comfortable with just a single bedroom. Even in Madurai and places I've seen, we don't build a mansion. Even if we can afford, we don't build it in such a way. Unlike US, where they usually live in a large house, it is not our culture. So it's going to change the way we build houses and moving forward.
Indu, what is your view on future? How is the future going to be for education sector?
Yeah, I think education sector has to come back to normalcy, the conventional style, like I told you. But the new learning which has happened during this lockdown, like all of us got prepared to give online lectures. So that is something good which has happened. Because most of the time when we travel, we're worried about catching up. Where sometimes we travel abroad and all that. So probably now students will also accept online lectures when faculty travel. So those are the advantages, I think, the learnings which happened during this time. Particularly, I think we have to come back to normalcy. As I told you earlier, research happens in educational institutions also. And even for this COVID research, a lot of ideas are generated. But until we go to the lab, until we get our students and project staff back, we can't execute any of this. So we're just writing proposals, waiting for people to come and do the work. Right. So going forward, I think we'll go back to normalcy and maybe have this on the side. Online lecturing will always come to our aid in other situations.
Would this increase, Indu? What is your view? Would online teaching or online learning or your virtual labs, are they going to be increasing in your view?
I think so. Because I think from the students' point of view, the millennials are so comfortable learning stuff online. They want to learn it at their own pace. That is something we always have struggled. 8 o'clock classes in IIT, always the attendance are poor. Right? So I think we should also adapt and get tuned to the new learning approaches, what the students like at this age. So maybe we should come to terms with it, have some of these early lectures, have them online or move them to a different time, give them some flexibility, but with the word of caution. The students can be very smart. Like I told you, there should be some norms. Right now, the biggest challenge is there are no guidelines, there are no regulations for online teaching. That's a red light which everybody is talking about these days. because we just did it impromptu. Regulations have to be laid on online teaching and online learning, and then we can bring it as part of our norm, not completely, but it can definitely be one of the methods of teaching across the entire country beyond IIT.
Wonderful.
I took one year senior management program in IIM Calcutta, completely online. Initially, I was very skeptical, but it was very effective. I mean, eventually, after a few weeks, we started feeling it as normal. Like, the professor is, even though the professors were simultaneously handling classes for more than 400 students. I mean, all of them are senior like me. And initially I was skeptical, like it was but very interesting. I mean, finally, they had some very good tricks. For example, they'll randomly pick up one student and start asking them questions also. So you can't be unattentive. I mean, that was eventually, some of the best professors from IIM Calcutta, they took very nicely. I mean, I didn't understand initially whether it would be effective. It was an expensive course also. We paid several lakhs for this course, but it was useful.
AJB would like to add here because even I did with IIM Ahmedabad for the SMT. So yeah, my experience is also similar to yours. It was a couple of years ago, and in fact, as AJB pointed out, that was actually very interactive. Because even I was earlier very skeptical how this is going to be, but then it eventually turned out like the case studies that they give you to resolve. I think the education should move into that way, because even I find it difficult, because sometimes my kid even she just relaxes on the bed and then listens to the online classes. I will be like, why are you doing like this? So I think the education should move to the next level. I think yeah, the professor pointed out rightly, like in terms of the regulations that has to be brought to it, I think that will make a lot of difference. And as AJB pointed out, like the online should be more interactive with the case studies rather than the regular homework. So we have to get into that level, and how this because online discussions, forum discussions, and it has to be mandated that everyone should post their comments and everyone should answer it. So all those things, if it comes up, I think that will actually bring a radical change in the education segment as well.
But one thing I can sympathize with Hindu is that I think keeping the attention of students is increasingly becoming very, very tough.
Yeah.
I don't know how teachers manage, and the attention span of people are going down, 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 down. It's coming up to, I think, 58 seconds now. I think probably.
But it depends on the subject, AJB. It depends on the subject.
No,
You
not like that.
give them a game to
I
play on their tab. Their attention span will be, extremely high.
But for deep work,
Yeah.
I think that definitely you require, flow and long time sustained, attention.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is one of the
Very
reasons
disappointing.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing that I cannot go back to campus. I was thinking about going to campus and freaking out, but you're disappointing.
Right. Even for a classroom lecture, you see the pulse of the student and you change. Even in the middle of the class, you change your plan. What you came with, you have to stop and tell a story. Right? You need that interaction, and you know that people are interested in something.
Yeah, so humanity is more of an interaction.
Yeah.
For example,
and for online, we need to innovate more.
Many lecturers not standing and talking, sitting and talking I think is not easy. I mean, I used to wonder so for me, this is a problem. When I speak, when I stand and speak, all my gestures, everything orients. Even now, it becomes a very casual conversation rather than a serious, that's a challenge,
Yeah, very true. I started using my tablet in the middle because I cannot do without the chalk and the board. Just online lectures and PowerPoints doesn't work with me. So I told them, okay, I'll send you my PowerPoint, but I'm going to use my tablet and write things there so that I can add new things, not a pre-prepared lecture. Sometimes it's spontaneous, right? You think of something and you want to tell them. So I had to switch to my tablet halfway through my online lecture.
Okay.
Whiteboard is something that we have to make a lot of innovation. If we really want to go online, I think we have to do a lot of cheap, very effective whiteboarding in systems. That is something which I think is very important.
Yep, to annotate.
Kavitha is enjoying all the conversation. She has to go to the next slide.
Yeah, I'll quickly ask Vidhya.
Yeah, regarding our changes towards work from home, there is going to be some change, maybe not very significantly, like I said, only in the allied roles, maybe in some supply chain management, there may be some changes. If you take, for example, the manufacturing contributes to about 30% of the Indian GDP, I think, approximately. That's the latest figures. So, out of that, the allied activities in any industrial organization may not be more than 10 to 15% maximum. So, to that, so when you take the 10 to 15% of 30%, it is not going to be a very big value in terms of the total contribution of the change into work from home from the manufacturing sector. Yeah, there is going to be some small change, but it may not be very, very significant. Our contribution, I think the main contributions are going to come from the IT sector and little contributions like our own from the other sectors. That is going to be the cumulative effect, but all this effect will hopefully ultimately help the environment.
Okay, I'll just move to the last slide. So I think we spoke about social interaction and infrastructure. Yes, of course, people said, it was time consuming for them to bargain from home. A lot of comments in the survey that I got. Some of them said they eat more, they sleep more, they're not able to focus. Some of the site work cannot be done, working from home. And somebody asked, how will a car get manufactured? Somebody said, enough of work from home. I cannot wait to go to office. So a lot of comments. I think a lot of this has been covered. But I just wanted to put it across to the audience that there were different comments from different set of people on this. And when there was a question asked, if you look for a better job, what would be your priority to look at? So this is what the survey talks about. So a lot of them said challenging and innovative work is the key. Will be the priority to look at from a potential employer. So next comes the company culture, and salary was the last thing. So I just want to leave this so that people will look at it more, especially from an employer's perspective.
Health has taken a very big hit, Kavitha.
Okay.
Many of them, of course, lockdown. They couldn't do the exercises. They couldn't be around. So, there's a huge, very devastating effect on health. And we've had, I've come across about 6 heart attacks and 4 deaths in the last 15 days. Last 15 days, most of them are less than 40.
Oh my God.
So even while I was talking about it, I lost a few people. So I'm this situation has created a huge health issue, especially sitting at home. People eat the 3 meal and with the proper stuff, unlike what we used to do when we go to office. This is going to be a very big issue because I'm devastated. The loss of a couple of people close to me, including my own staff who got heart attack. He's just 33. He survived, but one of my other friends' office, there was a guy who died, and one of my friend and one of my classmates. So many people in the last 15, 20 days. It's creeping into the health, especially people between 30 to 40.
Okay, it's both physical health and mental health, I guess.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we may have to maybe discuss about it later on that, but it was very sad to hear. But let's see what we could do for that. I will also work on it, Shiva.
On a lighter note, Kavitha, I think China has some statistics on the number of divorces post-COVID.
It would increase, yeah, but that's a no-brainer in the women. They spend more time, at the same place. So,
yeah, I think we have to. It's a mentally we have to change. No, you cannot just change overnight. So I think we have to have keep our spirits high. I think yoga, meditation, all that should become a part of our life if we are going to be working from home. Exercise.
True. Yep.
We were not even allowed to go outside the house, right? So probably people could not even exercise even if they wanted to.
Yeah, this was not just work from home. This was more to do with the constraints that we had due to COVID-19 situation. I think that has caused more of this mental health and psychologically also. When you enter your home, you're from the office and you enter your home. Home is a place you generally take rest. Now you convert everything, and you tell your brain that no, this is going to be my workplace, and start working, and not able to manage both work and the peace at home. So that might create some emotional well-being to be a little upset and all that.
Earlier, when I used to work at home, I used to change my dress to be the way I go to office and come into that room and sit there. And progressively, I've changed that. I think that has an impact. I mean, unless you change your physical attire and you don't move to a place, you really don't get that feeling of
absolutely. That's the tricking of brain that you do. Yep.
I don't know. There is no adrenal flow in my body now.
Yes. So thank you so much for joining. So I just want to conclude it. If there is one summary or one liner, or what is it going to be? Is this work from home going to be the new normal? AJB?
Yeah, I think we will learn a lot, but I don't think completely we will go work from home. We will start slowly increasing the share of working from home. Many tasks, especially on the manufacturing, I mean, we cannot do. Even in IT also, certain things you can't do completely work from home. That's what my assumption is. I mean, that's what I'm expecting.
My summary is that the digital transformation is going to happen. It is happening very, very fast because it's going to be a new normal. So we started implementing the productivity tools, recruitment automation, the HRMS, mobile app. So much is happening in the last month, which we were thinking about it, talking about it for years. It all just happened in a month or two, So this situation is going to put ITES companies to implement, walk the talk, all these days we were talking, but we're going to implement more of the workflow automation, everything digital. So it's going to increase the need for digital transformation. So this is going to be a new normal, and that's an opportunity for the companies who are into digital transformation.
Okay. Thank you, Shiva. And AGB, to your point, a lot of them, more than 50%, felt that they want to work from home and they want that as a flexibility, but, they want both, a mix of, few days at office and few days at work is what most of them preferred.
I'm expecting the number of working days to go down for all of us from 5 days to even 4 days. There's two reasons. One is I think we have to create more jobs, basically.
Okay.
So I think the world is heading towards a lot of changes. I think we are talking about universal basic income and then more automation, and maybe this will have an impact on environment. We are going to commute less. So in a way, I think COVID is given us lots of new insights as to how we can transform. That we're going to continue to learn. I think we're going to start thinking in the direction. We should not return to our old ways.
Go back to what we were doing. Okay.
Yeah, that's something I'm also concerned.
Absolutely. Yeah, Indu, what is your concluding remarks? Is this going to be the new normal? You're on mute, Indu. Unmute.
I think it's definitely going to, it has given a pause button and restart. Restart will definitely be different now that we know the positives of having these online platforms for various applications. So it will become part of university. Uh, one of the teaching styles of the university probably gives a lot more flexibility to teaching faculty and the students in particular. I think they will embrace this. But as I told you, there should be certain rules, regulations, some ethics. Right now, many faculty are even worried that these students will be having their family members listen to them, and some of them have that kind of stigma, like they're watched and they're judged. Those kind of things put this faculty under pressure. So there should be some norms and ethics and regulations brought to online teaching, and then slowly it can be incorporated into the teaching system. But this only applies for classroom teaching. Other things, I think we will be switching over to the conventional mode. One more thing, Kavitha, I wanted to add. Beyond the meeting, some of the meetings, this can cut across all the sections what we are talking about here. This was something which I wanted, because for a 1 hour meeting in Delhi, they make you come all the way and spend the whole day. Okay, the entire carbon footprint, your time, your stress, start in a 3 o'clock flight in the morning and all that. So I always ask these government agencies or DST where they call us for these meetings, why can't we just come online and give our opinion? It's just a matter of few minutes of our opinion in a meeting, right? So I think that should change. That's where all this online WebEx meetings will make a big difference.
Yeah, that effectiveness will be good, and the real cost saving will happen there.
Yes, productivity, cost, environment,
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, Durga, any concluding comments from you, Durga?
Yeah. So in continuation to what AJB was mentioning on, what would happen after we get back to normal. So I think I understand that certain things, yes, it has to be done at work with people together. In fact, there's a survey conducted by the Global Workplace Analytics, which says that once we have done it, people are going to want to continue it. So because we are getting into this anytime, anywhere mode, and that anywhere needn't to be always office. So people might end up coming saying, okay, anyway, we will group together somewhere else and have it delivered for you. So if that's going to be the case, I don't think we will also hesitate to accept it. So that will be a kind of new norm. And I think Indu also pointed on the rules and regulations that will shape. We already attend to a lot of mandated trainings and also the grooming sessions on the soft skills as well. And I think when it comes to the remote working, I think there will be a new set of trainings that will be evolving, which will also get into the HR policy as well as what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
and we always talk about
next session I should do with the HR leaders on how are we going to revisit the company policies.
Okay. And the other thing is we talk a lot about how to have this effective work from home, but we seldom talk about how to avoid the work from home burnouts. So that is also one of the key things which we have to accomplish as part of the new norm. And as part of this, I feel like artificial intelligence and IoT, all machine learning, all these things is no more a jargon. It's going to be a part and parcel of your life, and it is going to be more of a horizontal across any of the verticals that you take. So to conclude, As Charles Darwin mentioned, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, but most adaptable. So we have adapted through a lot of evolutions, be it agricultural evolution, electricity evolution, digital evolution. And I think this pandemic evolution also is kind of shaping our social evolution. So I think we should be ready to embrace this change by adapting to it with trust and the latest technologies.
Oh, absolutely. Well said. So I think, organizations are, adapting themselves to a lot of things now, because what I heard from AJB and Shiva, it took for 10 days, 7 to 10 days for them. And after that, it was quite fine for them to continue the job, whatever they were doing, and they were able to manage their companies well. And I'm sure a lot of companies would agree to that. And for some sectors, yes, we do have challenges, but I hope, going forward, a lot of new roles might emerge, new innovations might be there, and embracing new technologies to solve their problems come out. And I hope a lot of things would emerge out of this. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us, all the panelists. Sorry
Thank you
about
all. It was a wonderful conversation. It was wonderful, enlightening.
Yeah,
I can only offer you a virtual coffee here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Together.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Yeah, next time we meet,
Yeah.
the coffee is on me. I'll do that.
Coffee with Kavitha. Coffee
Yes,
with
I'll start a session like that. Sure.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Nice
friends.
Thank
Yeah.
you, everyone. Yeah,
Bye-bye.
nice meeting you
Thank
all.
you, everyone.
Thank you.